okay, let them say what they want. They might think I should wait, but I don't. No, I don't want to waste a minute. Girl, I want you in every single part of my world. So take my hand, let me make you mine. I'm through waiting, taking my time. Never felt like this before. Take my name and make it yours. I know I'm the last guy anybody think might ever be talking like this, yeah. But I can see my future in your eyes tonight and taste forever on your lips. And I'm like, hold up a minute, don't go. Ain't no way I can take this slow. So go ahead and tell me I'm out of my mind. Or baby, just tell me yes. And take my hand, let me make you mine. I'm through waiting, taking my time. Never felt like this before. Take my name and make it yours. Take my days, baby, take my nights. Go and take the rest of my life. Oh, 'cause I don't wanna wait no more. Take my name and make it yours, yeah. Take it all, baby, I don't ever want it back. Take it all, yeah, everything that I have. Take my hand, let me make you mine. I'm through waiting, taking my time. Never felt like this before. Take my name and make it yours. Take my days, baby, take my nights. Go and take the rest of my life. Oh, 'cause I don't wanna wait no more. Take my name and make it yours. Make it yours. Oh, 'cause I don't wanna wait no more. Take my name and make it yours.
This
Jason Aldean,
is
Jared Neiman,
Lee Bryce.
Country.
Y95.
Yeah, we coming in hot and heavy on this one here. Everybody's country, Y95. Doc Bryce filling in for JJ out on special assignment. And with me in the studio is the wonderful Dr. Smith, who I was just telling her off mic that she made Dr. Google very mad.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, how about that? You got a doctor out there that's a higher being that says you're incorrect.
You know what's funny about it is that and I was telling a patient this week, she was appreciating something that I did, and it was something that not everyone appreciates, but it's necessary. And I was telling her that there's actually studies to show that the more satisfied a patient is, like patient satisfaction scores, that the further the deviation from scientific evidence-based care.
Really?
So if you're super happy with everything that goes on in the visit, it's actually less likely to have been scientifically the best treatment.
So as long as you're suffering and you're
For example, somebody that doesn't want to know that they're diabetic, I tell them they're a diabetic, right? And diabetics, by best evidence, there's a certain blood pressure medicine that they should be on, a cholesterol medicine they should be on, and at least a baby aspirin, and maybe something for their sugars. And so all of a sudden with that diagnosis comes 4 different medications. You may not like what I've got to say, but I have to tell you this is the best evidence.
But what if it makes you better?
But
and you're happy because, look, I got better.
I'm healthy. Yeah, it's actually several things. You're at such high risk for heart attack and stroke as a diabetic that 2 or 3 of the things are just mainly for stroke prevention. So anywho, so that's an example of, you may not like it that we're adding 4 new medicines to you, but it's actually scientifically the best thing that we can do to take care of you.
And if you're happy, then it's no longer scientific.
If you're happy, then you're just some weird person that apparently was not in the studies. No, it is just like a general thing. Like it's not a every single situation type thing. But for example, like at an urgent care, you're much more likely to be happy if you get a Z-Pack. Scientifically speaking, those are useless and may have harmful side effects. But when you come into my office and I tell you you have a virus and tell you these things to do for a virus, people aren't as happy with that because they didn't get the Z-Pack.
So if you just say, guess what? You got a virus. Have a Tootsie Pop roll.
Mucinex.
And send them on their way. They're happy.
They're less likely to be happy with that than if they got the Z-Pack.
Oh, so they're just in it for the Z-Pack.
It's that that patients kind of have these preconceived things as to what to expect, and when we're outside of what that is, they may be less likely to be excited about it.
All right. Well, let me get to these formalities here real quick because we are running behind, and I didn't know if you were coming in or not.
And I didn't know JJ was out because I'd text him.
Oh, and he didn't respond?
No.
He didn't say, like, oh, I'm not there.
No.
Oh, well.
So maybe he's sleeping in before his special assignment.
Let's hope so. All right. Well, the round table made possible by Stories Floor and Carpet. Since 1958, Stories Floor and Carpet and family-owned business, now led by Kenny Story, is the third generation and is a beacon of quality and personalized service, specializing in hardwood, vinyl, tile, carpet, and laminate. They cater to residential and commercial clients, excelling in customer tile. Oh, custom. Custom, not customer tile.
Both. They do
excelling
custom
in customer
and
service and custom tile. Showers, hardwood finishing. As Shaw Floors Align business, they offer reputable brands and convenient financing through the Shaw credit card. Their extensive in-stock inventory ensures quick solutions while a containment system is deployed. So they suck up the dust so it's not just all over your furniture.
Cool.
So visit storiesfloor.com to explore their offerings and visualize your flooring project. Ouachita Medical Centers for Chemical Dependency Unit. Established in 1985, OCMC's Chemical Dependency Unit specializes in substance abuse treatment with dedicated staff, including medical, psychological, and counseling. Oh, see, this is terrible because the people aren't going to go away happy because they're going to be met with scientific stuff.
Getting sober is frequently not enjoyable.
Yeah. Oh, so.
Very much worth it. Not all the time enjoyable.
So if you're miserable because you're getting sober, then you know it's scientific.
It's working.
It's working.
It's working.
If you're happy and you know it, then you're probably at the wrong place. Kidding aside, though, they offer all kinds of stuff, individualized plans, along with behavioral and 12-step recovery models. So call 870-836-1289 or 800-232-1289, ensuring confidentiality and stuff like that. And then got Elite Fitness Club. Well, he's totally rewritten all these. A premier fitness destination offering 24/7 key fob access, cutting-edge equipment, including free weights and interactive cardio machines with apps like Netflix and MyFitnessPal. Exclusive to South Arkansas, they boast a far infrared sauna for a holistic health experience. Holistic? Infrared?
Sounds interesting. Also not evidence-based.
If you're enjoying it, it's not scientific. I'm gonna have to start using that on Facebook. If you're enjoying it, it's not scientific. The club emphasizes the preventive benefits of exercise against serious illness, promoting a healthier lifestyle with varied workout options, including fitness on demand, virtual classes, and dedicated functional fitness area. Elite Fitness accommodates diverse preferences, affordable membership options, employer incentives, and Medicare Advantage programs make fitness accessible. So contact them at 870-807-2589. Michelo's Body Shop, been serving auto owners for 20 years, specializing in auto body collision repair, framework, glasswork, and refinishing for accidents of any size. Service includes free estimates, insurance assistance, automotive glass replacement, detailing, paintless dent repair. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. They provide professional service with a commitment to quality and customer satisfaction. If you find yourself in a ditch, just call Mitch at 870-837-2560 for assistance. The Sandbar, located over at 245 South Adams in Camden, offers delightful experience with happy hour food, Wi-Fi, and kids menu. Operating under the dedicated ownership of hardworking Denise, this locally owned gym serves the best steak in all of South Arkansas with a reputation for excellence. Open from 4 to 10 on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It provides a fantastic atmosphere and great service. Enjoy their mouth-watering steaks and twice-baked potatoes. Contact them at 870-836-3003 for dining experience and make sure if you got a big crowd coming, plan ahead. Everybody's Antiques, located at 436 South Bradley Avenue in El Dorado, is a premier destination for antiques, gifts, and collectibles with a vast 31,000 square feet of space and 120 dealers in-house. It offers exceptionally wide variety of treasures to explore. The whole Oh, I wholeheartedly encourage. That's JJ speaking, not me.
I like how he changes it and then like ditches you.
Encourage shopping with a friend to make the experience more enjoyable. Now, I do agree with that. You do need to take a buddy because you can't get lost in there. They provide delivery service for your convenience. Contact them to inquire about their offerings, and you can reach Everybody's Antique at 870-875-1444. And First Choice Family Care.
That's us.
Yeah, that's led by Dr. Jera Smith. So you ever get like paranoid if somebody says Jera like uses your full name?
Definitely is like unusual. Because when I was growing up, you know, my whole family called me Jera Dawn, and so if I heard my whole first name, it was like levels of trouble I was in.
Yeah. So
if I heard my whole first name, I'm in trouble, but it's better than Jera Dawn. And then if I heard Jera Dawn Bowman, I'm like a ghost.
Uh-oh.
That's level 5.
Yeah.
I need to let her have some time to calm down.
Or like a DEFCON 1.
Yes, exactly.
We are no longer in a time of peace. Well, definitely your destination for comprehensive family medicine. And we just learned that if you're enjoying the experience, it's not scientific.
So come here and let us make you unhappy. No, I'm kidding.
They're open from 8 to 6 Monday through Friday at 476. Y'all are still over there at 476 Hospital Drive, right? You haven't moved yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
It's anticipated, I think, in May.
Okay. So with a patient age range from newborns to nearly 100 years old, they offer a uniquely qualified and patient-focused approach to healthcare. Scientific. Expect a science-based approach to address your medical needs. Stay connected on social media and explore their website at myfirstchoice.com. Whether it's for you, your child, or your parents, make First Choice Family Care your primary destination for health. Contact them at 870-800-9002.
Yep.
Okay. All right, we got all those people out to... Oh, Budget Propane. They're located on Highway 79. They're a corner of McNeil. And locally owned and operated, no hidden fees or gimmicks. Give them a call today, 870-393-0032. And now serving Calhoun County. And with the way the weather's been, you may need to check and make sure you got plenty of propane to get through the
make sure you're not
season.
like behind on anything.
Oof. That could be rough. So, we got any questions or anything? Any doctory stuff? Because
I think there was something.
Because it is
week.
Thursday. Now, keep in mind, don't say anything that will upset the Dr. Google, because I get hit with that, and then I have to go through their rehabilitation program.
But there should be some way that you can. It's a like 8-letter long A word that you say when you want something taken back, like reconsidered.
A retractment?
No, like in court when you have a sentence and then you like want to have it reconsidered.
Rephrase?
No. Anywho, when you want another hearing, there's a word.
Oh, an appeal.
Appeal, yes. Even in like approvals, like insurance approvals, we have to do appeals a lot if I get denied the thing I ordered.
And I did appeal it. I told him you were a qualified, real, actual doctor.
And the county health officer.
And not only that.
Board certified.
So the rehab part that I had to go through was asking me doctor questions. I'm not the doctor.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So I had to take the rehab program to get that strike taken off, because if I get 3 strikes, then they suspend my account. But if I willingly take their rehab program and pass the course, then they will remove that strike. And then I get to start over fresh.
What'd they say about your appeal?
Oh, they just took it and then threw me right into rehab.
Oh, so well, if somebody has a question today, how can they come? How can they let us know?
Don't go to Google. That's for sure.
Because we're not live today, right?
We are live. Well, no, not on the social media thing. I have to put it up later.
So phone number
is 870-836-9559.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we got the text line, which is 501-313-0944.
Yep.
So we got that.
Perfect.
They could, you know what? They could message it in.
Yeah.
They could go to the Radio Works Facebook page, even though I don't have the feed up, and they could send a message through there. People do it all the time.
Cool.
Yeah. They ask for songs and stuff like that, or Be like, hey, can you tell everybody about our wonderful thing that we've got going on?
Yeah, that sounds fun.
You could do it that way too.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, we do still have a question from last week, and then there's a couple of health observances that we can go over that are important.
So what are they sick of?
This one. This one says, I've been experiencing pain radiating down my leg. Could it be sciatica? And what measures can I take to measure the pain, manage the pain?
I've had one of those.
It's usually, so that's what's called a radiculopathy. I still love that word.
It almost sounds ridiculous.
I know it does. But what radiculopathy means is that it's radiating, and it comes from a pinched nerve at the spinal column. And so you have, well, that's where sciatica is. But it comes from a pinched nerve, and it gives you a characteristic change in sensation along a specific area that nerve services, or what we call dermatome. And so what sciatica is doing is that frequently it's hitting the L5-S1 area. And so you have the area that nerve innervates, goes across the buttock and down the lateral, back to lateral leg, or the side of the leg. And then as you move further down, it goes more to the side and then ends up on the top of the foot. So kind of starts at the back, and as you go down the leg, by the time you get to the toes, it's moved. That nerve services the top of the foot usually too. And so people that have that nerve being pinched is usually from some bulging discs or arthritis type changes, which are both very normal. Most of the time with sciatica, it'll bother you for a little bit. You'll have these little segments that are worse, and then all of a sudden it'll tend to get better and kind of reach back kind of a normal. You'll have these little kind of what I think of as flares that kind of last a few weeks and then kind of go back. If you have this and it's new, it's still worth seeing your doctor and at least getting a basic x-ray. The thing that helps the most is actually physical therapy. And it's one of those things that people really don't like, physical therapy. So there's another thing that is good for you that you don't like to do. But there's...
What about like going to a chiropractor?
I don't dislike chiropractors. I don't like ones that are really heavy on the adjustment side, because those snap, crackle, pops, the thing that happens is that your bones aren't the problem. The muscles are pulling them out of place or out of alignment. And so if you don't do any treatment for the muscles, they're going to get back out of alignment. So it's really the muscles around the bones that more frequently cause you problems, and that's why physical therapy helps more.
Is that when they hook you up to that little shock thing that
they can use TENS?
That pulses your...
It makes the muscle relax, so more or less it's active. It's sending out an electrical impulse that causes the muscle to spasm, and muscles that are in spasm, it can help relax them, and that can help alleviate pain and some of the tightness. If you have a one-sided tightness, I would say if I was a dude, the first thing I'd get rid of is having a wallet in your back pocket, because you tend to be just a little lopsided, and you always wear it on the same side.
I started carrying mine in the front.
Yeah.
Because I noticed that especially if you have a very thick wallet, because guys keep thick wallets.
Yes.
And you end up sitting uneven. So one side of you, usually,
and it's always the same side.
And guys, you typically always carry it on the left.
Yep.
So whenever you, especially if you're sitting on a hard surface like a bench or something like that, then you kind of notice you're tilted up one way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that can lead to dysfunction in those muscles, where these muscles are used to this position and these muscles aren't, And so there's all kinds of things that can lead to that dysfunction. But making sure that you have really good posture, and that's not just sitting up straight, that's actually having good ab muscles while you're sitting up straight. So kind of the idea in yoga that you pull your belly button to your backbone, that you're kind of tucking the hips back just a little bit, helps with that low back. Because most of the time, as we kind of get older, we get a little bit of a belly.
Uh-huh.
And then it pulls our back forward to where what we call excessive lordosis, meaning that the natural curve of the lower spine is in forward just a little bit. But when you put a lot of weight around your midsection, it pulls that natural curve further into that curve.
Is that why old people usually lean forward?
That is actually kyphosis, so that comes in an upper back problem where you start having bending of the thoracic spine. So the lumbar is is the exact opposite of the upper back or thoracic spine. The lumbar curves towards the belly a little bit. The thoracic actually curves towards the back a little bit. And as we age, it can kind of the thoracic can kind of have an excessive curve forward that would roll the shoulders and drop the head out in front of you.
Oh.
And that will cause worsening, like neck pain and things, because your head is meant to be in line with your spine, and so it can change the physics of how the weight from your head is distributed onto the neck muscles. So it can cause a lot of neck pain and headaches, and even hand numbness from having that forward head posture. So back, spine, and alignment is super important. And if you want to try something first, I would just go online and look for physical therapy exercises for sciatica, because they're out there and online. And I think it's worth trying. And I would try to work in some beginner yoga for the lower back. If you don't have a lot of mobility, that's not a bad thing. It's not too late. You can get some of that back. Who knows how much you can get back? I've seen very flexible older people in yoga. And it also helps your balance, which is important as we age. But you can look up some beginner yoga, and you can even look up beginner chair yoga for the lower back, to where if you're having trouble with mobility as far as you can't get on the floor, you can start those exercise yoga practice from a sitting position. And you can watch those videos for free on YouTube. Yoga by Adrian's one of my favorites as far as YouTubers. But lots of those are the things that I would recommend. If you don't have any reason that you can't take an anti-inflammatory, or like NSAID, I really like Advil Dual Action. I don't have any connection to Advil. I just really find that for myself, high dose ibuprofen is what I usually want to take for pain. And I find that I can take the same number of the Advil Dual Action and have about half the amount of ibuprofen that I would usually take, and it worked just as well. And so it's actually just got a little bit of Tylenol and a little bit of ibuprofen in the same tablet. And that works really well for me and a lot of patients, but you have to be able to take ibuprofen, which some people, especially with kidney problems, shouldn't take. Or if you've ever been told you're allergic or had a reaction to it. Okay. And then there's other medicines that your doctor can prescribe based on how bad your symptoms are and what other symptoms you're having from it. There's a lot of different medicines out there. Some people, they have sciatica and they deal with it, but it's hard to get to sleep at night. There's lots of options, prescription-wise, that can help you deal with that.
So that's just an ongoing burning, tingling sensation.
A lot of times, like I said, it'll tend to get worse for a bit and then kind of go away for a bit, and it'll kind of flare like that. Especially as long as you're not doing any kind of exercise to prevent worsening of the degradation of the lower back. So those physical therapy exercises that you can learn, yoga, lots of things that focus on lower back health. If you do those every day, you're much less likely to have those flares. But a lot of times you only do the exercise long enough that you feel better, and then you kind of stop doing them over time, and then it comes back because you naturally have this inclination to this posture, or work does this to you. And so there's a lot of things that can help that lower back pain that can help with sciatica.
All right, then.
And then one of the national health observances for this month is actually cervical health awareness month. And that's cervical can mean neck, but this is meaning cervical as far as the lower part of the womb and the uterus. The bottom part is called the cervix. Women can get cervical cancer. There is a vaccine. Should I talk about vaccines?
I don't know. Well, this one ain't going on YouTube anyway, so you're safe.
Oh well.
This is for the podcast.
So the Gardasil vaccine is actually a vaccine against human papillomavirus, or HPV, and it turns out that more than 95% of cervical cancers are from that virus.
Not the vaccine.
No, from the actual
we gotta
virus.
Make that clear so we don't get flagged.
Right.
Yeah.
And as far as humans go, if you were to test us, probably 1 in 3 to 1 in 4 would test positive for that virus at some point in our life. Like, it's very common, and most of us clear it and never have any trouble. There's something about the cervix that in a greater portion leads more towards cancer formation over time. And so if you have young people, Cervical Health Awareness Month may mean that you go get your 11 year old and up, I think it's 11 to 12 when they first start that series of shots. It's a series of 2 shots if you start it before 14 or 15. You have to have 3 shots if you start it after that time frame. And insurance pays for it. It is a vaccine that prevents a viral infection, but it also prevents cancer because 95% of cervical cancers are due to that virus. And so if we can keep your young woman or female or child, adolescent, from ever getting the virus, which a third to a quarter of us have had at some point, then we can drastically reduce her risk for having cervical cancer in her lifetime.
So is this something that stays with you, or something that just kind of comes, plays its course, and then leaves?
For a lot of people, it comes, plays its course, and leave, and they won't test positive for it again. But some people, for whatever reason, have a harder time clearing that infection. And even cervical cancer guidelines have changed, and I still see that in some rural places. Women do not have to have pap smears until they turn 21, regardless of their sexual activity.
Wow.
So I don't care that the 16-year-old is active. She doesn't need a pap. I would recommend yearly STD testing because in college age group, 1 in 5 carry an STD. So I would recommend testing, but not pap testing, because I see it all the time. They went somewhere, they were 16, they started having sex, and so they got a pap, and then it was abnormal. Studies show, so looking at best evidence, that's something else. I've had patients not like that. I don't do PAPs yearly because they're not indicated yearly. There's good evidence to show that it doesn't help and it might hurt. And so for young women under the age of 21, what tends to happen is that if you check, you will get abnormal pap smears, right? But most of the time, they will resolve it on their own with no interventions. So what that means is that if you check and you see it, well, now I'm going to have to check again. Now I'm going to maybe have to take a biopsy. Now I might have to take a piece of the cervix off because now I know there's a low-grade changes in it, right? And so we may put the patient at risk when, statistically speaking, when you look at kids that age, if you were to leave them completely alone, it would never turn into anything. They'd heal the infection and go back to normal. So if you have any concerns, so when we talk about screening, we're talking about asymptomatic testing, meaning that there's nothing wrong that you know of. You're just getting cancer screening, right? If you're having bleeding between your periods or bleeding after sex, if you're having weird symptoms, that's no longer asymptomatic. We may need to change our plan based on the symptoms. But for just regular run-of-the-mill healthy people, they don't need pap smears until they're 21. Run-of-the-mill, not on any medicines. Some medicines change how often you need pap smears. So your doctor can talk to you at your wellness as far as what we should do for your body to keep you healthy and cancer-free. But I don't know if you know anyone, but as a doctor, I've seen people die of cervical cancer. And it's not something I would ever want to wish on anybody.
Well, I definitely didn't get my pap smear at 21. And don't plan on it at 51 either. So.
I don't think you should. Colonoscopy above the age of 45. You guys get even, I can't, but we have to do that too, so that's not really fair. But with that being said, even aside from that, reducing cancer is important, but also the fact that a lot of people, even if they don't have the cancer part of it, just abnormal pap is hard. If you've had an abnormal pap smear, there's a lot of anxiety of knowing that, hey, maybe my cervix is going to go cancer in the next couple of years. Like, that could be anxiety provoking. And I can't tell you the number of abnormal paps I have that then, okay, I had an abnormal pap, and now instead of getting that 3 or 5 year gap in between paps, now we have to repeat this in a year, right? Or we repeat it and it's still abnormal, or you test positive for HPV. There's age changes, so when you're under 30 changes to when you're over 30. There's a lot of different evidence as to if you're under this age, if you're over that age, what we should do. And so your doctor would know best. But what in general, the Gardasil, the HPV vaccine, is one of the most underutilized vaccines as far as what we have because it's not required anywhere. It's offered, it's paid for, but it's one of the most underutilized. And we literally have a vaccine for cancer. Like, it's awesome. Everyone's like, well, when are we going to get a cure for cancer? It's like,
you got one, right?
We can prevent it. How's that?
But that only works for females, though, right? I mean,
no.
Because, dudes can get HPV, can't they?
Yes. And there's a lot of new emerging evidence about that. So, one, why should you get your son vaccinated is so that this other person's daughter doesn't get cervical cancer, because men are who share those things, right? That's how that got there. And then also, studies are starting to show that people that had the Gardasil series before onset of sexual activity. So that's why we're hitting that young adolescent, preteen with that, is because we want to catch people before they could have any exposures. Just like the chickenpox vaccine. We want to give them that vaccine before they get a chance to get the chickenpox.
So where are they getting it from before if they're not active?
So...
Because if they're active, they got it from somewhere.
What we know as adults is different. We think that nothing's been happening, but, there's...
But they got it from... Somebody got it from somewhere, because somebody else had it from somebody else.
I don't trust teenagers any further than I can throw them. So I just assume the worst and act on that, because it can only get better. But that's why we want the vaccine before they start getting so curious about things. When they still think each other's gross, that type of thing.
We were talking about, the girls get it from the guys, but the guy had to get it from somewhere. So it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Who knows, as far as who originally had the first HPV. But that's how it gets shared, is during close contact with private parts. Mm-hmm. So with that, trying to get those vaccines in before they ever are curious about those close contacts. And before they even think, that anybody's even attractive or whatnot. I want to do it while people still think, gross.
Well, the reason why I ask is because I've seen the commercials and stuff, and the commercials primarily push it for young girls.
Right.
And I'm thinking, well, the girls have got to get it from somewhere.
Exactly.
And if they're getting it from the guys, well, then the guys had to get it from somewhere.
Well, the girls are either getting it from another girl, which if all the women were vaccinated, we wouldn't have that. That wouldn't be an issue. Or from a boy.
But my whole point is that they push it primarily for girls, but you're saying that you can also get it for the boys too.
I would highly recommend it, because that's where the girls get it from. The boys get it from the girls get it from the boys, so that's why they both need vaccinated.
So that is something to consider then.
Yes.
Even though we're not seeing it in the commercial, because like I said, the commercials keep pushing it for the girls.
Because theoretically speaking, if every single woman on the planet had the HPV vaccine, then the men wouldn't get it either.
Right.
But it's the most underutilized vaccine.
But it's kind of like a catch-22.
Exactly. It's not eradicated, and we're nowhere near that, so everyone still needs vaccinated.
Okay, so you should talk to your doctor about getting it for your son as well.
And you don't even have to talk to your doctor. If you have questions, then yes, but you can schedule a visit at the health department and just go get it.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
Your insurance pays for it. You do not have to have an order. It is a recommended vaccine, so you can just go get your kids vaccinated. If you're under the age of 45, it's still recommended, and we'll get into why. But insurance pays for it frequently up to the age of 27.
Well, we may have to save that for another podcast, but
yeah,
we're getting towards the top of the hour.
Well, the biggest thing is that, and we can talk about it more, is that they are actually seeing that people that had the full Gardasil series before onset of sexual activity have fewer overall cancers. So there's actually postulation that is the HPV virus that is so ubiquitous that so many of us have had more related to these other cancers. For example, head and neck cancer. People that had the Gardasil series when they were young are showing less likely to get head and neck cancer.
I didn't know you could get brain cancer and stuff, right?
No, like oral cancers, throat cancer, squamous cell cancers. So like esophageal cancers, throat cancers, a lot of facial cancers tend to be squamous cell. And so those types of cancer, they just in general call them head and neck cancers, have been strongly associated with HPV now. And so even boys are less likely to get that. The other thing is that regardless of the child's orientation, men are less likely to get penile cancer or anal cancer if they've had the HPV vaccine. So those cancers are more rare than cervical cancer, but still, if I could keep my son from having penile cancer, that sounds like it might impact his life.
Yeah.
Or anal cancer. That hole's really important. If it shuts down, everything goes downhill. So, if you can protect your loved ones, do it.
Okay.
Lower cervical cancer. That's what January is supposed to be an observance for cervical cancer.
Well, if people want you to be their doctor, what do they need to do?
We're having the website updated. It should be kind of in the mix, so that's a little changing. So you can check that out at myfirstchoicecare.com. You can find us on Facebook, and you can call the number at 870-800-9002. And if you don't get somebody there, it means we're on the other line. Just leave a message, and we'll get right back.
Okay. All right.
Sound good?
And they can follow you on the social medias?
Yes. Facebook and TikTok.
Yeah, you're really big on TikTok. You show up in my news feeds now in TikTok.
I'm almost, I need to post some new content because it's like I'm almost where I can do lives.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, look at you.
Yeah.
Moving on up. Just don't
yeah.
take off the TikTok doctor, though.
Huh.
You already got Dr. Google upset.
I know.
Let's not upset Dr. TikTok. I don't know what their policies are, but yeah, I can't believe that I got flagged because allegedly you were giving out false information about vaccines.
I've always been a huge proponent for
well, you got to remember,
prevention.
It's not an actual person listening. It's
right.
a computer with algorithms. So they probably heard vaccine, blah, 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 blah. And then somehow that went to something else in another part of the conversation that was probably like a bad idea.
Or when I bet what was happening when I was saying what that patient told me. I had a patient, and I was seeing that patient. I think I brought that example up because the other person was like, I would never, and I won't say it again because apparently it got me cut last time.
Well, that would make sense.
That person was like, that person's own personal opinion.
But wait a minute. Then that goes against the rehab part of the rehab that I had to take, whereas if a doctor says based on experience, and that was okay.
Exactly. But I had said that person's own personal opinion. This other person had said, that's not me and not a doctor. Right. Had said that they would not recommend something.
Dr. Google contradicted himself.
Yeah.
Or herself. Or
they.
itself.
They have a they. They're lesion.
I don't know what gender.
It's not an individual. It's a lesion, so it's they.
I don't know what gender a computer identifies as.
Nah, it's not a singular computer.
All right, well, we got to hit this top of the hour stuff. 8 o'clock on up here for us. We got to get top of the hour news, back to the music and all that, and then got Swap Shop up at 9. So with that, the podcast, I'll put that up later, so you can find that on your favorite podcast platforms.
So it's back on Google.
Well, it won't be on. This one probably won't be on Google or YouTube, but you can definitely find it on. You got Spreaker, and then you've got Spotify.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got iTunes.
Yeah.
So it's up there on all those other platforms up there as well.
Sweet.
So as soon as I get it uploaded up there, that way y'all. And, of course, it'll re-air Saturday morning, 5:30-ish.
Perfect.
Somewhere in there. All right. Top of the hour. Stick around.
Ladies and gentlemen, KCXY East Camden welcomes you to the Southern Airways Express Studios, where we play the new, the known, and the legends. That's what makes us everybody's country, Y95.
And now your local news on Y95.
Hello, South Arkansas. I'm Doc Bryce. Let's talk news. An oil spill on Industrial Road in Union County prompts caution from residents, urging them to consider alternative routes. Penn Transportation's mishap during an oil delivery to USA Recycling led to a News Talk 92, KBEU Beer Den.
I'm sorry, can you clarify that last sentence for me?
That means the news and talk of South Arkansas on News Talk 92, KBEU. Hello, South Arkansas. I'm Doc Bryce. Let's talk news. An oil spill on Industrial Road in Union County prompts caution from residents, urging them to consider alternative routes. Penn Transportation's mishap during an oil delivery to USA Recycling led to a spill along a mile stretch, posing potential hazards. County workers, in collaboration with Penn Transportation, worked tirelessly overnight to clear the road. Despite cleanup efforts, the road remained slippery due to heavy rain, warranting careful driving. Dallas County Sheriff Mike Canedo addressed criticism regarding a viral post of arrested suspects disclaiming any racial intent. The photo aimed to deter unlawful activities, and due to receiving death threats, Canado disabled comments and Facebook Messenger. He emphasized his duty to protect the county, stating the suspects far from minor offenders or dangerous individuals with criminal records. Despite challenges, Canado remains committed to keeping Dallas County safe. He acknowledged accomplishments over the last year, but highlighted the ongoing work. His mission to uphold the county as an ideal place to live persists, thanking the community for unwavering support amid the situation. Strong and gusty winds will persist with sustained west to northwest speeds of 25 to 35 miles per hour and gusts up to 40 to 50 miles per hour. Later this week, cold air moves in, followed by a new storm system anticipated to affect Arkansas. The south half may experience strong to severe storms Thursday night into Friday as the system approaches. Ouachita County Animal Protection Society OCAPs in Camden City Pound seek winter supplies for dogs. Donations of warm materials and food are welcome. Please avoid hay as it retains moisture. Tangible items or cash donations are appreciated to support the animals. And our final story, East Camden Mayor Angie McAdoo and Ouachita County Judge Robert McAdoo commemorate 42 years of marriage, solidifying their status as Ouachita County's cherished duo. Their enduring love story originated from their senior year at Harmony Grove High School, culminated in marriage on January 9th of 1982. Warm congratulations and wishes for continued happiness to this esteemed power couple on their anniversary. I'm Doc Bryce. Go make some news today. Bryce Robertson is next. Shop Camden.
What's better than getting something for free? Winning. Woohoo! And with the $5 bundle from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery, you get the chance to do both. For $5, you get 3 tickets, a Powerball ticket with Power Play, a Mega Millions ticket, and a free Natural State Jackpot ticket. That's 3 ways to win. So ask for the $5 bundle today. Bundle is eligible with Quick Picks only. Offer ends February 29th. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
From the Radio Works newsroom, I'm Bryce Robertson with this news update. The Arkansas Department of Agriculture is now accepting applications for the Resilient Food Systems Infrastructure Program. More than $4.2 million will be awarded to sub-grantees to improve food supply chain operations and strengthen local food systems throughout the state. Applications will be accepted through February 16th. The department is offering 2 grant types under the RFSI program: infrastructure grants and simplified equipment-only grants. Applicants may apply for 1 grant type only. The Arkansas Department of Education's Division of Higher Education, in order to ensure qualified Arkansas students do not experience a notification delay regarding much-needed scholarships, will conditionally approve state scholarships while the federal government addresses problems associated with the